All right, well, today is the day. Made the ultimate decision based on kind of some things that happened around here in terms of, just projects and whatnot. I have decided I'm going to sell the 820. Not necessarily my first choice, but it is a gigantic space hog. And I can rationalize the decision several ways. There's more 820s out there. And right now I'm storing many things outside that should not be stored outside. Chief in point, I've got my brand new snowblower out sitting outside. It's been sitting outside all spring and summer. Those kind of things, they just need to be stored inside. This is something that's a hobby. And so ultimately, hopefully somebody will buy it that thinks it's a hobby too and can put the money into it that it needs, or maybe just use it as is. It's perfectly fine. So this is kind of a sales pitch video, and it's at the same time kind of reason why I'm selling it. But to sell it, obviously it needs to be in a little bit better, we'll say better assembled than it currently is. So what we're gonna do, I've already checked the oil, and I haven't fired it up in well over a year. I've already checked the oil for the pony motor and the big engine, both right where I left them. Checked, made sure there was no water in the fuel. There's no water in the fuel. So we should be good to go. And now the only thing I have to do is put some coolant in it. Still same condition that I left it in well over a year ago. Doesn't have a seat or anything, so we got to put the seat on it. Gotta still have some intermittent wiring problems. I probably will not have time to fix that. But what I'm going to do, it does have the rebuilt pony motor on it that I did a video series on, so that is in there. I'm trying to think of other things that I've done to it. I mean, obviously the front axle. I mean, you can go through all 40 some odd parts of that video series on the 820 to show what I did to it. All the fluids are changed, crankcase has been cleaned out. Pretty much the whole 9 yards has been done to it, and the only reason I sell it is just I need the space, and right now this is a space hog. And in terms of value for dollar, this is an expensive space hog, and I have other things that would do much better in terms of using space, so that's what we're going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the camera. We got to go through the test. I'm going to see if it'll fire up first, and then we can start going through and double checking everything, and then we start reassembling it. If you're wondering about price, it'll most likely be priced somewhere between, when I get done with it, I'll say I'll start the price off probably at $7,500, and we'll go down from there, depending on how long it sits. I don't know if it'll sell. If it doesn't sell, probably what I'll do is park it outside, and then sadly I will probably start taking parts off of it, because at this point it doesn't need to sit here anymore. So I'll give it a couple months. If it doesn't sell and winter starts to come, then I'll probably start ripping parts off and selling those to try to recoup some of my investment. So anyway, we'll set it up, we'll see if it runs, and we'll go from there. Okay, so first thing we've got to do is put almost 9 gallons of coolant here. So what I've done, when I store this thing, I take this plug out. This is a drain plug for the coolant system. And then I also take that plug out, and I just leave them out. That way it has a chance, everything can drain, there's no problems there. But now it's a matter of filling up the coolant system, hopefully it doesn't leak, and going from there. Hasn't had any type of water in it for well over a year. Trying to remember the last time I drove it. It was quite a while ago. But yeah, I'm just gonna let it sit here. I'm gonna put a couple gallons in it, see if it leaks anywhere, and then kind of go from there. So fill it up, here we go. All right, I don't remember where I left the video, but it's about, a little over 24 hours later, and the 820 is back in one piece, mostly in one piece. We just finished putting everything together. We did start it, eventually get it started last night. Had some wiring issues, but we did get it started, and runs fine. And so now we're gonna start it up so we can get out of here and we can drive it around a little bit. Overall, no leaks to speak of. When I first put the coolant in, it leaked a little bit. You can see kind of remnants on the floor. Some of that was from me spilling it, and some of it was the connections on the pony motor. They leaked when I first put it together, and then they stopped. I'm guessing it was just kind of the heat. It needed to build up some heat. But let's see if it'll crank again. I'll set the camera up, and we'll go from there. Now to refresh, I'll go over the controls, and I'll refresh it here in just a second. All right, so control-wise on the 820, sitting in the operator's seat, you've got your left brake, your right brake. You've got, in this particular case, your rear PTO. You've got your clutch, your main clutch. Your gear shift right here. You have your decompression lever and engagement of the starting engine. You've got your starting engine controls right here to turn on the gas. This is for the RPMs. This is for the choke on the starting engine. Under here, you have your controls for the ignition. You have the starter, and then you have all of your gauges, and then your fuel gauge. Okay, and then over here on the left-hand side, because this tractor has 2 hydraulic outlets, you have your 2 hydraulic levers. And you have your throttle right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the camera to where you can hopefully see what I'm doing, and we'll get it started.